You're not stranded because of bad luck. You're stranded because of a routine habit, something you do every single day without thinking about it. Most drivers I've worked on in the shop are unknowingly killing their battery one small mistake at a time. I've seen these exact mistakes cost drivers anywhere from $300 to $800 in unnecessary replacements. So, stick around because the last mistake on this list is the one almost nobody talks about. Mistake number 9. You're running electronics with the engine off. Let's start with the one I see constantly. Guy pulls into the lot, engine is off, radio is blasting, phone is charging off the USB port, and he's been sitting there for 45 minutes waiting for his kid's practice to end. Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. Here's what's actually happening under that hood. Your battery is a starter. That's its whole job. It's not a power station. It's not a generator. It exists to crank the engine, send a surge of electricity to the ignition, and then let the alternator take over. The moment you flip that engine off and start running accessories, you're pulling directly from a resource that was never designed to carry that load solo. Think of it like this. Your battery is a bucket of water. The alternator is the tap that refills it. The moment you shut the engine off, the tap closes. Every accessory you run is a hole in that bucket. Radio? That's a hole. Phone charger? That's a hole. Dome light you forgot to close? That's a hole. Over time, champ, the bucket empties. And when it does, sulfation sets in. Hardened lead sulfate crystals build up on the plates like plaque in an artery. And once that happens, your battery can never hold a full charge again. Game over. The fix is free. Engine off, accessories off. If you need to sit and run something for more than 10 minutes, start the engine. Let the alternator carry the load. That's what it's there for. Mistake number 8. You're ignoring short trip damage. This one sneaks up on people who think they're being responsible. They drive every day, they don't leave lights on, they don't blast music with the engine off, and yet their battery is dying. I've seen it a dozen times. Here's the real problem. Your alternator is not a charger, it's a maintainer. It's built to keep a full battery full. It is not built to resurrect a weak one. Every time you start your car, the starter motor pulls a massive surge of electricity from the battery. Hundreds of amps in a fraction of a second. That's the battery doing the hardest work it will ever do. Now here's where the mistake happens. If you only drive 5 minutes to the gas station and back, the alternator never has enough time to put back what the starter pulled out. Do that 5 days a week, and your battery is running at a smaller and smaller percentage of full charge every single day. Voltage drops. Sulfation starts forming. Cold cranking amps begin to die off. Consumer Reports has warned about this for years. The rule of thumb is simple. At least once or twice a week, take your car on a 20 to 30-minute highway drive. That gives the alternator actual time to bring the voltage back up to a healthy 12.6 volts. If you truly can't do that, pick up a smart battery maintainer. Something from Battery Tender or NOCO runs about $25 to $50. Plug it in overnight once a week. Problem solved. Mistake number 7. You never test your battery until it dies. Car nerds, this one drives me crazy. A battery can start your car perfectly fine on a Tuesday morning and leave you stranded by Thursday night. Voltage at rest tells you almost nothing about real battery health. What matters is how the battery performs under load. The American Automobile Association has published data showing battery failure is the #1 cause of roadside calls in America. Over 7 million breakdowns a year. And the vast majority of those people had no idea their battery was failing because they never tested it. Here's how to do it right. Grab a digital multimeter, engine off, test across the terminals. A healthy battery should sit at 12.6 volts at rest. If you're seeing 12.2, it's already running low. Below 12.0 and you've got a problem walking in your direction. But voltage alone won't catch everything. You need a load test. Most auto parts stores like AutoZone or O'Reilly will do this free in the parking lot. Or buy a battery tester yourself for around $30 to $60. Set it to your battery's cold cranking amps rating, the cold cranking amps printed right on the label, and hit test. If it fails under load, replace it now. Don't wait for a midnight breakdown. And while you're at it, check the date code stamped on the battery. Anything past 5 years deserves serious side-eye. Mistake number 6. You're letting corrosion eat your connections alive. That greenish-white crust you see on battery terminals? That's not just cosmetic junk. That's a power thief actively strangling your electrical system. Corrosion raises resistance at the connection point, which forces the battery and alternator to work harder to push the same amount of current through. That extra strain shows up as premature battery death, slow cranks, and mysterious electrical gremlins. The American Automobile Association has flat out stated that most battery failures aren't actually battery failures at all. They're bad cable connections. Think about that. People are throwing down $120 to $200 on a new battery when all they needed was a $6 terminal cleaning brush and 20 minutes in the driveway. Here's exactly how to handle it. Engine off, keys out, gloves and eye protection on. Remove the negative cable first. Always negative first, then positive. Use a wire brush or battery terminal cleaner to scrub those posts until they shine like fresh metal. Clean inside the cable clamps too. Once everything is spotless, apply a thin coat of dielectric grease to each terminal before reconnecting. That grease acts as a moisture barrier and dramatically slows down future corrosion. If your cable is cracked, frayed, or the clamp feels loose even when tightened, replace it. Cables run between $15 and $40 at any parts store. That's cheap insurance compared to a dead battery or a fried alternator. Real quick, if this kind of no bullshit car advice is your thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I drop tips like this all the time. Stuff I've actually used in the shop that saves people hundreds of dollars in completely unnecessary mechanic bills. No fluff, just real fixes that work. All right, let's get right back under the hood with mistake number 5. You're forgetting the ground strap. This one gets missed by experienced drivers all the time, so don't feel bad if you've never checked it. The negative battery cable runs from the negative terminal to the engine block and chassis. That connection is your entire electrical system's foundation. It's called the ground strap, and when it goes bad, weird things start happening that look like everything except a bad ground. Slow cranks, dim headlights, random warning lights flickering on the dash, a battery that keeps dying even though it tests fine. I've had customers come in completely baffled, convinced the battery or alternator was failing, and the real culprit was a corroded or loose ground strap the whole time. Check it yourself. Locate where the negative cable bolts to the engine block. Grab it and wiggle it. It should be completely immovable. Look for any corrosion, cracking, or fraying on the strap itself. If the connection point looks crusty, unbolt it, clean the metal contact surface down to bare metal with sandpaper, and reinstall it tight. This costs nothing if the strap is still good. If it needs replacement, you're looking at $10 to $30 for a new one. A bad ground destroys charging systems from the inside out. Don't sleep on this one. Mistake number 4. You're not protecting your battery from heat. Here's the myth I need to destroy right now. Cold weather doesn't kill batteries. Heat does. Yes, cold weather makes a weak battery show its weakness, but the real damage was already done during the summer. Battery Council International has stated clearly that heat is the #1 cause of battery failure, not cold. Underhood temperatures can reach 200 degrees on a hot day, especially in tight engine bays with poor airflow. That sustained heat boils off the electrolyte inside the battery, warps the plates, and builds up internal resistance over time. A battery that should last 6 to 8 years can be dead in 3 if it's running hot every summer. The fix is straightforward. A battery heat shield or wrap-style insulator made from heat-resistant foam and foil costs between $15 and $35. It drops the battery temperature by up to 20 degrees. Some cars came with one from the factory. If yours is missing or cracked, replace it. Beyond that, park in shade when possible. Don't let the car sit and idle for long stretches in blazing heat. Make sure your cooling system is healthy because a hot engine makes a hot engine bay. And one thing you should never do: do not wrap the battery in plastic, foam, or rags as a DIY fix. That traps heat and makes everything worse. Use a real heat shield built for this purpose. Mistake number 3. You're deep discharging and just jump starting your way out. I'll be blunt. If you kill your battery by leaving the lights on, jump starting it and driving away is one of the worst things you can do. It feels like a fix. It is not a fix. Here's what's happening. When your battery drops below 12.0 volts, sulfation accelerates hard. By the time you've drained it to 11.5 or below, the damage is significant. Lead sulfate crystals harden on the plates, and those crystals block power flow permanently. The battery capacity shrinks, and it will never fully recover from a jump and a short drive. On top of that, forcing your alternator to recharge a deeply discharged battery puts massive strain on the alternator. Alternators are built to maintain full batteries, not resurrect dead ones. I've seen alternators burn out in weeks because of this exact habit. A replacement alternator runs $150 to $350 depending on the car, plus labor if you're not doing it yourself. The right move after a deep discharge is a smart charger with a recovery or reconditioning mode. NOCO and Battery Tender both make excellent units in the $40 to $80 range. Clamp red to positive, black to negative. Set it for your battery type. Let it run a full cycle. That takes hours, not minutes. A proper recovery charge dissolves sulfation and brings the battery back to real health. If voltage is under 10 volts, some smart chargers won't activate. In that case, use a manual charger briefly to wake it up, then switch to smart mode. That's the pro move. Mistake number 2. You're running a bad alternator and calling it a battery problem. This is the most expensive misdiagnosis I see in the shop. Guy buys a new battery. 3 months later, he's back. Another dead battery. He buys another one. This cycle goes on until someone finally checks the alternator. Here's the thing. A bad alternator will kill a brand new battery in weeks. Either it's undercharging, meaning the voltage never gets high enough to keep the battery full, or it's overcharging, meaning it's cooking the battery from the inside. I once watched a guy destroy 2 new batteries in 3 weeks because his alternator was pushing over 15.5 volts. That's like running boiling water through your radiator all day. Something's going to fail. Test it yourself in 2 minutes. Grab a multimeter, start the engine, measure the voltage across the battery terminals with everything running, lights on, AC on. A healthy charging system shows 13.8 to 14.6 volts. Below 13.5 and the alternator may be too weak to keep up. Above 15 and the voltage regulator is bad or the alternator is overcharging. Either one is a problem. Also, listen. Alternators going bad often whine or grind. Smell for a burning belt. Look for a loose or corroded wire at the back of the alternator. And never ignore a battery warning light or alternator warning light on the dash. That light is not a suggestion. It's a system failure notice. Get it checked before you buy another battery you don't need. Mistake number 1. You're not replacing the battery proactively. And here we are at the last one. The one most drivers never do until it's too late. Running a battery past its natural life. Most quality flooded lead-acid batteries have a real-world lifespan of 4 to 6 years in regular use. A GM batteries can stretch to 8 or even 10 years with proper care. But here's the thing. A battery doesn't announce when it's getting close to the end. It just keeps starting the car day after day, giving you zero warning, until one cold morning or one hot afternoon, it simply doesn't. I replace batteries at the 6 to 7 year mark regardless of how they're performing. I know what I'm doing mechanically, and I still don't trust a battery past that age to give me fair warning. Every battery I install gets a date label right on the case, so I always know its exact age. It takes 10 seconds, and it's the cheapest reminder system I've ever used. A quality replacement battery costs $80 to $180, depending on size and chemistry. An AGM upgrade runs $120 to $220. Compare that to a tow truck, a missed workday, or a stranded family on the highway. Proactive replacement isn't a splurge. It's cheap insurance. Drive smart, not lucky. So there it is. 9 real-world mistakes that are quietly draining the life from your battery every single day. None of these fixes cost a fortune. Most cost nothing at all. These are the same checks I run on every used car that comes through my shop. Because the truth is, dead batteries are almost always preventable. Hit like if this helped you out and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Tried one of these and it worked? Drop it in the comments below. Now look, if you've already made some of these mistakes, your car's computer might be acting completely confused right now, throwing random error codes or idling weirdly. And watch our next video on mechanics hate this reset trick. It fixes 95% of car problems to get more car insights.